Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go. What's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Happy Monday to you guys, man. Hey, it's Thanksgiving week. I know we're all getting ready. We're out shopping, doing that last minute grocery shopping, getting your turkey, getting your ham, getting your dressing, your stuffing, whatever you want to call it, man. But hey, in between time, we got some sports we want to talk about. And tonight's show, it's a special one as usual. I got to talk about my Dallas Cowboys. What a shambles of a loss that was last night to the Kansas City Chiefs. Is there a cause or a reason to be concerned for the Dallas Cowboys the next 4 weeks? I personally believe so. But hey, don't take my word for it. You'll have to listen later. Also, what a crazy NFL season. I know we talked about this about 2-3 weeks ago. A lot of upsets going on. But man, they could just continue to keep happening. And I was talking to my cousin the other day, and I was just like, you know what? It's a week-to-week league now. And am I okay with that? I'll let you know how I feel about that. Also, college football rankings, the top 4 teams, Alabama, Georgia, Cincinnati, Ohio State, all vying for a national championship. I'll let you know who's my inside track there on that one. And finally, LeBron James, is he dirty? Is he a dirty player? I'll show you guys the clip. You be the judge of that. And finally, my clutch and not so much segment, as usual, is always a special one for me. So without further ado, sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Come on, let's go. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing all right, man. For those who don't know me, my name is Ryan Flowers. They call me Clutch Live, man. Hey, listen, I got a great show in store for you guys tonight. Hey, if you're in the room right now, I appreciate you guys. Drop a comment. We already got some comments already in here already. My boy Barry Grant, he wants to hear me defend Dak. You know what? He will be surprised. If he knows me, I think he knows me pretty well. I keep it real, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. But if you're in the comment section, if you're in the live watcher right now, man, drop a comment, even if it's just to say what's up. I appreciate that. Also, if you have not already, hit me up on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's pretty simple, man. Just type in Clutch Sports Talk. I'm the first thing that'll come up. Also, I'm trying to build my Twitch brand. Make sure you get over there right now and search Clutch Sports Talk Live. I'll be up there. You can see me and subscribe to Twitch there as well. And all my other platforms are available right there, as you see scrolling down below, and the nice, beautiful red ticker. But other than that, I appreciate everyone in here. Let's get straight into it. So, my boy Barry Grant from the All Even podcast, he knows you don't come on his show and you talk about my quarterback that way, right? But in all reality, Dak Prescott did not play exceptionally well last night, as the Cowboys were defeated 19-9 by the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, where do I start? Well, a couple things, and these are not excuses. These are not excuses. I don't want anyone to think that these are excuses. What I will say, there were some issues going into the game that had me concerned, and the main issue was Amari Cooper. I knew the game plan the Kansas City Chiefs were going to come into the game with. They basically were saying, you know what? We're going to stop your run. You're down at a Hall of Fame left tackle. We're going to load the box, and we're going to make you pass. For how good Dak's been playing, for the most part, last year after the injury up until now this year, he's been pretty decent, right? I don't think he's an MVP caliber type player. I think he's a very solid superstar type-ish player, right? But in regards to the Kansas City Chiefs game plan, they were saying, you know what? We don't feel Dak Prescott can beat us. Not like Patrick Mahomes can beat the Cowboys or any other team. And that was very clear that first series. Now, Kellen Moore didn't really explore the run option as much as I thought he probably should have. And by the time they really needed to run the football or tried to run the football, it was kind of already too late. But the Kansas City Chiefs said, you know what? We're going to load the box. We're going to play a lot of man. And from what I saw, and I haven't had a chance to watch the All 22 film, but there was a lot of man coverage, a lot of single action up there, one high safety, and Dak did not execute. Now, he wasn't protected properly. One bright spot from the Kansas City Chiefs defense is their pass rush. Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram. Chris Jones had an incredible game. I believe 3.5 sacks. Dak was sacked 5 times. So he did not have a lot of time to throw. But early on in the game, there was a play. I believe it was on the top part of the field. I think he was trying to go to CeeDee Lamb, and he overthrew him. Now, Dak does have a tendency to do that. He's always done that. And I've always said he needs to get better in his deep ball game. And, for the most part, he hits, but he's not as consistent as I would want him to be, especially in a game like that where you're on the road. It's a hostile environment. You cannot afford to get down on this team because they're hot. They were what, 3-0 at the time in the last 3 games. They're ready to go. The people in that stadium are ready to get it popping in there. And that's exactly what happened. The Cowboys went 3-0. Noah Brown dropped the 3rd-and-2 conversion where I thought, well, why don't you run the football there? But either way, kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs. They played a hell of a game. They stopped the most prolific offense in all of football, right? I mean, there's no excuses behind that. However, I do think if Amari Cooper is playing in that game, it's a different situation. Why? Amari Cooper is one of the most underrated man beaters. And when I say man beaters, he can beat man coverage better than most any wide receivers in the National Football League. And I feel as though if he was on that field, there were probably some opportunities where he can get off the line quick. Dak doesn't have to hold the ball, and he can get to Amari faster than he could CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup. I wasn't expecting too much from Michael Gallup because, look, this was his 2nd game back from missing basically, 5 or 6 games throughout the year. He ain't really played much since the Tampa Bay game. CeeDee Lamb is a nice receiver. A lot of people are giving him a lot of credit. I'm not sure if he's a number 1 guy yet. He is still a young receiver. He still suffers from dropping the football quite a bit, right? And so I don't know. And then obviously he went out. He missed half of the game due to a concussion. So, but like I said, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs Kingdom. They played a good game, right? They played a good game. Their defense was better than their offense, right? The bright spot for the Cowboys, which was my concern going into the game, was will they be able to stop and slow down Patrick Mahomes? And for the most part, they did. The defense only gave up 3 points in the whole second half. Only 1 touchdown to Patrick Mahomes. That's pretty remarkable. They made field goals, and that was it. If I were to tell you going into that game, if you were a Dallas Cowboys fan, if I told you, hey, you know what? We're going to limit Patrick Mahomes to 19 points. You were thinking, oh, Cowboys win easily because Cowboys are averaging, 31 points a game? That's an easy win. But the fact of the matter is the offense for the Cowboys really let the defense down. And that's kind of been of a theme. The last 2 losses here, in the last 3 weeks is that the offense cannot get it going. The Broncos game, the defense they had a hand in that too, but the offense kind of let the defense down again too. Look, the fact is the Dallas Cowboys have to try to run the football and be more consistent with it. I think sometimes Kellen Moore, we watch these games and we're saying, he gets a little cute and, or I take that back. The Falcons game, oh my God, he's a great play caller. And then the week later, oh my God, he sucks as a play caller. Most fans don't really understand the nuances of football. Now, I was reading a lot of threads last night on Twitter, Facebook throughout the game, and people are, well, why aren't we running the ball? Why? Well, you know what? The run wasn't there. Zeke was down with an apparent knee or ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken. But I think there was opportunities. The game was so close still that I thought that Kellen Moore probably should have tried to continue to run the ball, force the issue a little bit more. Because like I said, they were only down 10 points at one point, and even into the 3rd quarter. Obviously, there was a terrible, calls by the referees that didn't, go in the favor of the Dallas Cowboys. But at the end of the day, look, referees will miss calls. It's the National Football League. A lot of teams have injured players. It is what it is. I do have some concerns, though, in the next 4 weeks, because here's the deal. The Cowboys turn around and then play the Raiders on Thursday afternoon, Thanksgiving Day, right? You're thinking, what's the Raiders? They suck right now, right? They've dropped their last 3 after winning their first game after John Gruden was fired, and they've dropped their last 3, right? And they've not only have they dropped them, they just look really bad in each of those 3 losses, right? But listen, still no Amari Cooper. It's reported that he is not fully vaccinated or has not attempted to be vaccinated, not immunized. So therefore, he wouldn't even been available to play Thursday anyway, right? Because I believe the rule is if you are vaccinated, you have to be cleared like in 10 days. I don't know, something crazy like that. But here's the other kicker. CeeDee Lamb's going to be out another week or 2. His concussion is so severe that he won't even be able to even be cleared to go to practice this week, right? We don't know how Zeke's ankle is or knee or leg injury, what's going to be like. The one bright spot is that you do get Tyron Smith back. So if I'm Kellen Moore, you have to try to run the football. You have to run the football. You've got to play action. It'll create lanes. And I mean, and here's the next couple weeks here for the Dallas Cowboys here. So like I said, they got the Raiders Thanksgiving Day. Then they go on the road to New Orleans. Now, New Orleans coming off a pretty bad loss to the Eagles. Now, the Eagles are now 5-6. Where did that happen? How did that happen? But listen, New Orleans is traditionally has not been an easy place for the Dallas Cowboys to play. Granted, they don't have a legitimate quarterback. Now, I just saw Taysom Hill signed a deal worth $40 million. So I'm assuming he's probably going to be part of the future there in New Orleans at some point, or is right now. We don't know what Jameis Winston's status is moving on. But look, the Saints still have a formidable defense. It gets loud in the Superdome. Alvin Kamara probably will be back. He did miss last week or this past Sunday's game. That's probably why they did lose to the Eagles, or it helped lose to the Eagles. So I'm pretty sure he'll be back ready to go by next week, or excuse me, the 13th. So that's not an easy game. I mean, that's a game that the Cowboys can win, but do we still know the status of CeeDee Lamb then? How will Amari Cooper be after having COVID? We don't know. The severity of his COVID experience has been. Is it mild? Does he have a full-blown case where, there are guys still reporting that who had caught COVID that they still feel the effects. Now, unless you're Lamar Jackson, this guy's gotten like COVID like 5 times already. So I don't know what's going on with him. His antibodies are really not up to snuff. How this guy keeps getting it and keeps bouncing back, I don't know. And then you look at that following week 14, a tough road game in Washington. Now, people are like, oh, well, Ryan, really? The Washington football team? Yes. Now, I know their record doesn't really show anything much right now. But they did have a solid win against the Carolina Panthers on the road yesterday. Taylor Heineke, played a pretty good game. Their defense, it still might be maligned, whatever. But look, it's a divisional game. And what we know, especially this year, divisional games are not easy ones. They're not. Ask the Tennessee Titans about divisional games. They just lost to the Texans. Okay. So, and then you got another divisional game on the road in New York. For whatever reason, the Giants really, Saquon's back, right? We'll see if he'll be available by week 15 again there. Maybe, hopefully he doesn't get hurt. So that Giants team might be different by then too. I'm not saying these are going to be perennial playoff teams, but they will pose a challenge. And how will the Dallas Cowboys' health be? Will they have DeMarcus Lawrence back? Will Tyron Smith be available again, even though he's supposed to come back Thanksgiving? He's been hurt a lot the last 5 years. So, we don't know what's going to happen. Amari Cooper again, so we don't know. We still got guys like Neville Gallimore still waiting to return. Randy Gregory, we could have used him yesterday a little bit, right? So a lot of questions. I'm not fully concerned because here's the thing. It's an unpredictable season, which leads me into the next topic here. But at the end of the day, in regards to my boy Barry Grant, look, Dak did not play a good game at all, right? But I will sit here and say, you know what? It wasn't all him either. I think it was a combination of a lot of things. I felt like the noise got to the Dallas Cowboys a little bit. And for whatever reason, I don't understand why they want Terrence Steele to play left tackle when he's been playing right tackle. When La'el Collins, if I'm not mistaken, could play left guard and left tackle. I believe he did that in college. So I'm not sure. And people will say, well, what's the difference? I mean, it's a big difference. The footwork, the technique, all of that's different when you go from left to right. But I mean, you're given all that, you got guys that are hurt. It is what it is, but overall, the team did not play well. And if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, here, let me get myself back on screen so you can see the conviction in my face, right? Look, if you're the Chiefs, it's a good win, right? You shut down the most prolific offense right now in the National Football League. But are you really back? Now, the AFC is not as strong right now. And who knows? The NFC now has kind of come down back to earth because they're feasting on each other. But if you're the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes still could not figure it out. The Dallas Cowboys defense is not a top 10 defense by no means, by any stretch of the imagination. But I was kind of a bit more proud of the Dallas Cowboys defense because now I feel like if they can fix the problems on offense, which, here, look, listen, I'm not here to hit the panic button. There's still a prolific offense. I think injuries really bogged down what they did last night, especially because Amari Cooper, that's a big guy not to have on the field. I mean, period, right? But if you're the Chiefs, again, you still only managed 2 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys, right? You beat a Green Bay team without Aaron Rodgers. You play the Raiders. I mean, look, everyone's beating the Raiders at this point. Hopefully we do, hopefully, right? So, yes, you've won the 4 games. Now, am I ready to king them and put them back at the top of the AFC? No. I think they've reemerged themselves. They were kind of like in the depths of the basement. Now they're back to everyone. Because look, you saw what happened to Buffalo. They're one-dimensional. The Tennessee Titans, obviously, we knew that they had lost Derrick Henry. They're not getting him back anytime soon. So the Ravens, look, Ravens are barely beating the Chicago Bears, right? They lose to the Dolphins. So look, the Chiefs they're top of the West, AFC West again, which, okay, that's fine. That's good. So I'm not going to sit here and say, you know what? Oh, Super Bowl, they're back in the Super Bowl. No, there's still a lot of season left in this NFL year. So I'm taking what I've learned this year is that you have to take it week to week. I can't get too high. I can't get too low. Now, some Cowboys fans are like, oh my God, we suck. We're the same team. Oh my God, this Dak Prescott is terrible. Look, settle down, folks. Settle down. The Dallas Cowboys will be fine. Yeah, they got some tough stretches ahead, but that's okay. Other guys have to step up. And a lot of things what happened last night too. They dropped the ball, a lot of miscues, a lot of penalties, things that this like you can control, right? So they just have to get back on the winning side. They got a short week. Luckily, they're playing the Raiders. That should be an easier game, right? But you never know. It's the National Football League, right? You can't take things for granted. But this is probably one of the most exciting seasons that I can ever recall in the last 20 years since I've been watching football. Okay? Because I don't really know who's going to win. I don't know. I have no favorite at this point, right? Do we believe in the Cardinals? I don't know. I mean, and now I'm transitioning over to this, unpredictable season. I mean, listen. The Tennessee Titans were number 1 in my power ranking Sunday morning, right? They lost, so they're going to drop, right? But they lost to the Texans. And then you look at the last 2 losses the Tennessee Titans have had. You look at it, well, who they lost to? The Jets and the Texans. So are they not a good football team anymore? No, it's professional football. It's perfect. The Titans are still undefeated from teams from the playoffs last year. That's a good football team. So yeah, they're going to be hamstrung a little bit because they don't have Derrick Henry. Now, do I feel like if they met the Chiefs today, how that would go? It would be tough. It would be tough because listen, Patrick Mahomes can go off at any point. Like, I think we're all just waiting for it to happen. And I think it will happen soon. But there is some cause for concern, And then other teams are just losing. I mean, the Steelers almost won that game last night, right? They came back. They scored like 20-something unanswered points in the fourth quarter. So there's upsets this year. And, was the Cowboys game an upset by a betting standpoint? It wasn't because the Chiefs were favored by like 2.5 or something like that. But if you look at the stats, those teams are evenly matched for the most part. Evenly matched. Just that Kansas City executed better or more efficiently than the Cowboys did. So if you're looking at this season, you're like, well, this team sucks now. No, you can't say that yet. Now, there are some teams that I will say that I don't really believe in as much because I think I've seen enough of them now on tape. Buffalo Bills is one of them. They are so one-dimensional. What Jonathan Taylor was able to do yesterday, and that's a formidable defense. Now, their offense probably isn't that great, but their defense is top flight defense, right? I believe they lead in the league in yards allowed, points allowed per game. I mean, that's a good defense. But they're one-dimensional on offense, and everybody, especially last year and the year before, they were just swinging from Josh Allen. Swinging. This guy is the next, he's unbelievable. Oh, my God. He's got the talent. He's got the look. He's big. He's strong. Relax, people. It's the NFL. They learn about you. They got tape on you. I'm not saying he's terrible, but they're one-dimensional. When your quarterback is leading your team in rushing yards, that's not a good thing, unless you're Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens. And they got Stephon Diggs. Well, I mean, so what? Teams will be able to be like, we'll let him eat, but we're not afraid of anybody else on your team. You don't have anybody that we're like, oh my God, like we really need to be afraid of him, you know? And again, it's week to week. Maybe the Buffalo Bills bounce back and because they got a couple big games against the Patriots, who are now leading in the AFC East. So who knows? But it's definitely an unpredictable season. I don't know what's gonna happen from week to week anymore now. All you can do is just hold on and pray. That's all you can do, man. And that's all you can hope for at this point. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But moving on. College football. Let's transition to college football. So haven't really talked much about college football a lot this year. I do follow it. I go to a couple games, every now and then. But this year, I thought Alabama was just the clear cut, but I guess apparently not. Ohio State's bounced back after that early season loss to Oregon. Now, what happened to Oregon is just crazy to me. Just getting waxed in Utah. I believe there was like 38-3 or something like that. And then, you got Cincinnati teams like that who are just trying to make the playoff. Oh, pardon me. So, obviously the rankings out. The college football rankings aren't out yet officially, but we all kind of have an idea who's going to be in the top four. Now, with the exception of the last one. So we all know Georgia. Georgia's the number one team. You have Ohio State, Bama, and then that fourth team is probably and should be most likely Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati has a lot of close games, a lot of close wins under the belt. Their most notable win is against the Fighting Irish, who, believe it or not, is about, I think they're like 5th or 6th ranked in the country. So even Notre Dame is still not out of it. Now, Georgia, from what I've seen, best defense in college football, hands down. You're not moving the ball on this team. I mean, they're out for blood. I mean, they got literally 7 or 8 guys on their defense that can go to the NFL today. Not so much sure about their offense. JT Daniels is a decent quarterback, but I don't know. I don't think he's the quarterback still, because I know he was injured a couple times this year. Ohio State bounced back. They have a plethora. Yes, a plethora. Yeah. Wide receivers, but the biggest one is Olave. I mean, CJ Stroud playing out of his mind, his first year as a starter. At first, I wasn't impressed with him early on in his career, but what he's been able to do, the way they were able to manhandle Michigan State, Michigan State's been on a high. Now, granted, Michigan State, they weren't even really picked to do anything in the Big Ten. So where they're at right now is really is a plus for them, right? But going into that game, I'm thinking, well, this should be a good game. Michigan State playing really well, Mel Tucker getting this extension, is Ohio State the real deal? Yeah, they are the real deal. One thing I say about Ohio State, man, like, listen, they've evolved. And same thing with Notre Dame. Like back in the day, Big Ten schools, I'll throw in Notre Dame there as well. They always were just big and burly kind of guys. No real athletic speedsters. Oh, that's changed. This isn't your grandfather's Ohio State anymore. They got guys that can run. They got guys that are athletic, especially at the quarterback position. So, and then you look at, again, Alabama, Bryce Young. He's a candidate for the MVP. Heisman Trophy winner. And Alabama. One thing I will say about this Alabama team this year, outside of Bryce Young, I can't really pinpoint. And like I said, I don't cover a lot of Alabama games that much, but from what I do recall and from what I do see is that they don't have a guy like that, like they've had in the past, especially in the receiver spot. Now, they've pumped out tremendous amount of receivers in the last 4 or 5 years, and even the running back spot. So they have guys, upcoming guys, but I don't think a lot of those guys have really hit that plateau yet. But they're still a good team because defensively they can get after it better than anybody. And so, but some dark horse teams that probably could sneak in there, maybe get past Cincinnati, Oklahoma State. They're coming off a really good win. And they can challenge in the Big 12. Now, OU lost the week before. They bounced back against Iowa State this weekend. But listen, it's going to come down to that Big 12 championship. And what does the committee think? And we'll know tomorrow what the committee's thinking. If Cincinnati is not in the 4 there, then they don't respect what Cincinnati has done for the most part. And they don't really value that Notre Dame win, right? So I don't know if Cincinnati's the real deal or not. But we will find out here in the next couple of weeks because we're coming up on, championship series, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, things of that nature. But Georgia right now for me is the leader in the clubhouse. Not too many teams can compare to them, especially defensively. What they're able to do and how they pressure the quarterback is just tremendous. And Kirby Smart gets the most out of those guys there. And honestly, if this is the year Kirby Smart's going to win a national championship, it's got to be this year, because you can't count out Alabama to be, even though they're not even down per se, right? But to the standards of the world of the country, they're kind of down. I mean, really. So if Alabama's going to do it, you know, they're going to have to do it this year. And honestly, Georgia could meet Alabama in the conference championship game and lose or win, and it would still be in there. And I think Alabama will be too, depending on the outcome. And I think Ohio State, as long as they hold serve, I don't know who's going to rival them. I mean, they got a big game against Michigan, but I mean, it's Michigan. Michigan has not beaten Ohio State in, I don't know, like 7 years, some crazy number like that. So who knows with that. All right. Moving on, final topic for the night. Before I hit up the clutch or not so much segment, for those of you who don't know, there was a little scuffle down in Detroit last night between LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart, a power forward from the Detroit Pistons, where LeBron James inadvertently struck him and had this dude leaking. Here, you guys check out the clip. So there you have it right there. Now we've seen this from time to time. I mean, guys, they're boxing out. They're trying to get position. LeBron James probably didn't really appreciate Isaiah Stewart leaning on him that much, and he kind of just swiped down at him with his elbow. Obviously, you've seen the rest of the pictures before videos. Isaiah Stewart did not take kindly to that. And what ensued after that was pretty much, I wouldn't say it's a Malice in the Palace time part two, but it was pretty, because I was watching that game live, because obviously the Cowboys were pretty much out of that game. I switched over to the Lakers and I was like, dude, what's going on here? Now, is LeBron dirty? I don't think so. I haven't really, in all my years of watching him, 19, 20 years, I haven't really seen anything from him that would prove to me that that was a dirty play. I think what happened was he was frustrated. They were losing to Detroit, right? I mean, it's Detroit, the Detroit Pistons. They haven't really won much a lot in the last couple of years. They made the playoffs a couple of years ago, which I was surprised about. He's struggling. He's not playing well. I think at that point he had like 9 or 10 points. The guy's leaning on him a little bit. He swipes down, catches the guy in right here over the tail, like right here over the brow, and the guy flipped out. And Isaiah Stewart does have a history of being that dude, right? He's about it. He's about it, Bob. Okay, about it, Billy, whatever you want to call it. He is down to scrap, right? Anytime. A couple weeks ago, Blake Griffin had came back with the Nets. They kind of got into an altercation. Now, it wasn't fisticuffs, but there was a lot of staring down, people hovering over each other, bumping chests, et cetera, et cetera. You get the picture. So, but back to LeBron. I think he was just frustrated, swiped down at the guy. He hit the guy. And I think from what I can tell in the other clips that I've seen, he was looking to apologize, but Isaiah Stewart really wasn't about that life at that point. He was about that action, boss, as Marshawn Lynch would eloquently would say. And then, I mean, literally. Now, the breaking news, LeBron James is suspended for the next game, I believe, against the Knicks on what's today? Wednesday night. So he will not be available Wednesday night against the Knicks, which is I'm disappointed at, because he always puts on a pretty good show in the Garden. Isaiah Stewart will miss 2 games in his role in the altercation. Now, the whole thing was just crazy to me, because a lot of people are saying, for whatever, I don't agree with a lot of LeBron's politics and what he does, even on and off the court, the way he manipulates certain things. But I will say, to be objective, that wasn't a dirty play. I think he was just upset. I don't think he was purposely trying to hit the guy and catch his head and make him bleed like that. It was an accident, but he was definitely piffed, right? Because they were down and he wasn't playing that well. And so basically he got ejected. Isaiah Stewart's got to calm down. He's got to grow some maturity. He has to show some maturity, because at this point, he's labeled now. He's definitely going to be that guy. And that's not the label you want, especially in the NBA, because these referees will go after you in that nature. So I don't think LeBron James is dirty. And to talk about the Lakers a little bit, I'm watching that game and I'm just like, the Lakers, man, They lost to Milwaukee to start that road trip. And then you lose to Boston, and then you're trailing to the Detroit Pistons. A game you probably should have lost, right? This is my assessment of the LA Lakers right at this point. The Lakers to me are like a rich millionaire person who was into plastic surgery, Botox, et cetera, et cetera. And you sign players, guys with names and clout, whatever, and it's almost like getting work done to your face. And it doesn't look good. So guess what? You do some more work to fix the work that you didn't like. And you keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then you look really bad. You look messed up, right? You look like, God, what happened, right? We've seen that time and time again with some celebrities that have done that, right? A la Little Kim or somebody like that. So, and then you look at the Lakers roster and you're like, yeah, that's what they look like. To me, AD is a shell of himself. I don't know if he's hurt still, what's going on with him, but he really doesn't. I mean, he got destroyed by Giannis, right? He's getting beat in the paint by Enes Kanter against Boston. Now he had a pretty good game yesterday. He helped lead that charge behind Russell Westbrook, right? But is LeBron is on his last couple legs here, right? AD is supposed to be the future of LA, and they gave him an extension, but I'm not quite sure if he's going to be the future. Will he even be around long enough to fulfill that commitment in that contract extension? So the Lakers cannot guard the perimeter. They don't have enough young athletic players up there to guard. Russell Westbrook, you would think, is athletic enough, but I don't know. He doesn't. He has a lot of mental breakdowns. This team will be lucky to be a play-in team at this point. I believe right now they're like 8th or 9th, so they would be a play-in team. Now I know it's a young season still, and they have to gel. But with LeBron missing a lot of time, and he's going to miss some more time again, I can guarantee you that. AD is going to be missing more time. I can guarantee you that. A lot of guys are going to be missing time. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. And I'm a Laker fan, but I have to keep it real. I have to be realistic too. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think. You guys are quiet tonight in the comment section, man. Let me know what you guys are thinking. But anyway, we're wrapping up. Before I get out of here, man, let's do the clutch or not so much. So off the bat, Jonathan Taylor, 5 touchdowns. You can't get no more clutch than that. 5 touchdowns. He single-handedly beat the Buffalo Bills yesterday in Orchard Park. I mean, they whooped. I believe they hung 40-something on him. And if you had him in fantasy, you were loving this guy today because he probably helped you win a fantasy game. So shout out to him. Not so much USC football, man. Again, they're like University of Texas. They are a repeat offender on clutch, not so much, but they're here as not so much again. They do. UCLA in a rivalry game comes into the Coliseum and hangs 60 points on you. That's not the USC football I remember back in those early 2000s. It's ridiculous what's become of this program. This to me was a good coaching job, but I'm not quite so sure about this position here. Well, it's LA, man. Well, yeah, it's LA, but look, you're having to compete with a lot still now. And do they have the facilities like an Oregon or an SEC school or even a Big 12 school? I don't know, man. Watching USC play the other night, I told my cousin, I think UNLV can probably compete with USC. They are so soft. They're so mentally soft. And I don't know the quarterback, what's going on there. They had a true freshman there, Jackson Dart. I don't know what's going on with USC football. Obviously, they're going to have a new coach. And I'm petitioning they try to go out and get Urban Meyer. Now I know Dan Mullen got fired from Florida yesterday. Some people like the guy out of Cincinnati, and then Franklin out of Penn State. I don't know, man. I think you got to go get Urban. I think Urban should be one and done in the NFL. You bring this guy in, you automatically bring so much clout to your football team, and just like that, because USC to me, they're losing talent out of LA. And that was something that they ran LA. UCLA would be begging for scraps. Now UCLA is getting these guys. So USC used to predominantly recruit out of Long Beach, Carson. They be in the hood. They're not doing that anymore because those kids don't even want to go to USC. Change the uniforms. The Coliseum is just looking real lacking right now. So to me, I'm disappointed in this program right now. Hopefully they can bounce back, but right now they're not so much. And they got 2 games left in the year, and they're just going to get wasted, I think. So we'll see. Clutch, Dorian Thompson, um, Robinson, the quarterback for UCLA, the local Vegas kid out here who played at Bishop Gorman, had an incredible day yesterday, multiple touchdowns, but this was my favorite clip of the day, and this is why he came up clutch. Check it out. This dude scored a touchdown and signed an autograph. He did like a TO. The only difference was, he didn't have the pen in his sock, but still, that's how you know you're whooping someone. You got time to sign an autograph in their house by a Trojan fan, mind you. If that's not clutch, I don't know what else is. So shout out to him. Shout out to UCLA. They had a tremendous season. They are bowl eligible. And finally, not so much the LA Lakers, man. Overall, they got the win against Detroit, but honestly, they shouldn't even be in that predicament. This is not a good basketball team right now. And AD was very vocal this week saying that they aren't a good basketball team. Well, that's good. What you gonna do about it though? What are you gonna do about it? Sometimes I feel like LeBron looks disengaged, and he doesn't want to be there at times. So I don't know, man. He's one of the greatest players of all time. He's not the greatest. He's not the best player in the league anymore. And is Anthony Davis a top 10 player in the league? I would say no. I would say no. So what do the Lakers really have? They're still on this road trip. I hope they beat the Knicks. I hope they beat the Knicks and they beat the other last team that they have on that road trip before they come back and play next week or this Friday. So we'll see how it goes. But Laker Nation is we're reeling right now. We're definitely reeling. So, that's all I got, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys like and share the comment, man, and the content. Excuse me. I really, really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me when you guys do take the time and listen because a lot goes into what I'm doing here. So that's it. That's all I got. You guys make sure you enjoy your Thanksgiving, eat a lot of food, drink responsibly, and get back in the gym. Get back in the gym the day after, drop some poundage. But anyway, you guys will catch me again on Sunday morning with my NFL Sunday morning talk. Usually around 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Eastern. So until next time, everyone, this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Peace.